right, let's go into the word of the Lord. If I can have just a little bit more up here, I want to place a disclaimer tonight. A few weeks ago, I was headed to Houston, Texas. I had been experiencing chest pains for about 3 weeks, and I said when I go there and come back, if I'm still hurting, I'll go to ER and I'll get seen. And so I went to ER, and they did an EKG that came back good. They did chest x-ray that came back good. They said, well, let's check you for a blood clot. And so I said, well, I don't have no blood clot. I'm just hurting in my chest. They said, well, let's just take it. So they took the test and found out that I had a medium-sized blood clot in my right lung. And they said the left lung is partially collapsed. And so I can't do it like I want to, but I don't praise God. I'm a praiser. And there's a difference. When if you just praise God, you do it when you feel it. But when you are a praiser and you break your leg, you dance on the other leg, and then you put a little pressure to see if it'll work. And so I just want somebody to open up your mouth and give God a praise, and let's put pressure to see if God will fix it. Come on. Open up your mouth. Let's see if we can get it. Come on, I need you to put pressure on the enemy. And I need you to open up your mouth and give God a praise. Something's going to happen for us tonight. Something going to happen for us tonight. What, man of God, what was your last phone bill? Yeah, what was your last phone bill? You remember? Huh? $324? Okay, I'm going to pay that. And the reason why I'm going to pay that is for the next call that's coming for you. I'm going to pay it so that there will be no interference. And God says, even in this place, you're still going to get where you're supposed to get. And I need at least 55 praisers to turn to somebody and tell them a call is coming. No, you didn't do it. I need you to, if you're happy and you know it, turn around and tell one more person. Tell them a call is coming for you. And you will not miss it. No. You will not miss it. Come on, point at least 5 people and tell them you won't miss it. 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 Church, say yeah. 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 You won't miss it. All right. Let me. See, you can have the right door, but the wrong usher. Some of the people who sabotage your opportunity were the people you fed, the people you gave money to, the people you confided in. But I want you one more time to tell somebody behind you, you will not miss it. All right. Yeah! You will not miss it. That's a power. You will not miss it. You will not miss it. God, I feel glory. Glory. Glory to God. Glory to God. Glory to God. That's my grandson. Now he needs about 10 seconds if y'all give it to him, I think. Your mouth and shout yes, Lord. Clap your hands and shout yes, Lord. Open your mouth and shout yes, Lord. Clap your hands and shout yes, Lord. Clap your hands and shout yes, Lord. That's it, man of God. That's it. That's it. All right. Judges chapter 6, verse number 12. I don't want to bore your patience with this familiar narrative by excessive reading, but I want to grab a clause and then I just, you used to people calling because they want something, but God's getting ready to send somebody to call you to give you something. I'm telling you, no, it's going to be an upgrade and you missed it. I said it's going to be an upgrade and you're missing it. I dare you to praise God for the upgrade because it's getting ready to change your status. You got 10 seconds. I got to do my good work, but come on. I promise it is. I promise it is. That's it, sir. That's it. All right, let me do this. Let me do it. Let me do it. All right, hold your fingers. Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. I can dance all night, but I want to give some instruction tonight if I can. Judges chapter 6, verse number 12. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. Then Judges chapter 7, beginning at verse 9, says, and it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thy hand. But if you fear, you can take an adjutant with you down to the host. And I want you to hear what they're saying about you. And after you hear what they're saying about you, afterward I will strengthen your hands, and you're going to go down to the host. Chapter 8 says, I'm going to put goulash together. Then the men, verse 22, of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's sons also, because you just won. And Gideon said unto them, no. I want to talk for a few moments from this subject, believe in me now. Find somebody and look at them eyeball to eyeball. If you can't look at them, that means you've been talking about them. And so look at them eyeball to eyeball and tell them, if you wait till the crowd shows up, you will miss the genius of your moment. Tell them, if you're going to believe in me now. You can be seated honoring the presence of God. Brother, I want to share with you the sentiments of my heart, and I know what it's like to be ascending. When you are ascending, sometimes people will overlook your on the way because you're not there. We celebrate what we call giants in the kingdom, and most of these individuals are not giants, they're popular. And we will overlook individuals who are potent because they don't bring a level of popularity that someone else does. And the reality is, when you understand that many people are only popular because they slept with the right person. They're only popular because they paid off a particular person to be where they are. And then we will make it harder for the people who are trying to get it the right way. I'm going to find 27 praisers in here that will admit the only reason why it's been tight in this season is because I vowed to get it the right way. Okay, I'm not in Texas. I'm in North Carolina. But all of y'all, sometimes being broke is a miracle because I'm broke knowing I can call somebody and get the bill paid. All right, I'm lonely. Watch this. Not because something is wrong with me, but something is right with me and I'm choosy. If I decided to compromise, I could get everything handled tonight. All right, some of y'all in here looking at me crazy. But I need somebody to admit because I got standards, it's been slow, but it's about to pick up speed. And the reality is when you start ascending, things start going to changes. And Henry David said, watch this, you cannot dream yourself into character. You must hammer and forge yourself one. That it takes some strength and some fortitude to move you from where you are to where you need to be. And without going around the corner to go next door, God speaks to Gideon. And he tells Gideon, he says, you are, in chapter number 6, a mighty man of valor. He speaks to him and he says this because there's a word about the controller. He starts to have a conversation with Gideon before Gideon ever gets into the battle. God knows how to talk to you about your shall be while you're on the way to your shall. He knows how to talk to you. He talked to Joseph and he gave Joseph a dream at 17, and then at 30 he brought the dream to reality. He told a young girl who was about 13 years of age that you are a blessed woman. You are blessed and highly favored, and she had not passed her teenage years yet God told her what he was telling her while she was on the way. Can I get somebody to admit that God is talking to you about a future you that you can't even tell you're supposed to be? No, I know y'all prophetic people and you can see everything, but I wish I had somebody in here that will ever admit God is talking to me about me beyond me, and some of it is hard to see because I know my flaws, and when I look in the mirror, I don't see Superman, I see Clark Kent every time. And when I see Clark Kent, some of the things that God shows me, I say, I know you can do it, but I have a hard time believing you can do it for me. But I ain't gonna ask you to tap somebody, but I need you to point at somebody around the room and tell them he's going to do it for you. He's going to do it for you. He speaks to Gideon and he says, you are a mighty man of valor. Yet he had not went into a battle yet. But hear this, church. Here's the challenge for everyone who is hearing the voice of God. God says, I want you to grow beyond who you've been. I don't want you to just be celebrated for who you were, because one of the greatest tricks of the enemy, preacher, good to see you, is to make you popular at something you were never called to do. He will hold you stuck and limit you to a local audience when you really are a global voice. And so God begins to expose Gideon's weakness through our passage tonight to reveal his real strength. And so what happens is God begins to test Gideon. And you know the story in chapter number 7, Apostle, you know it. God begins to tell him, you have too many people. He says, so get rid of them because they're too many. They're not wrong, they're just too many. He tells him, I'm building your name as a person, but I'm going to make you look like a failure as a pastor. He starts with 32. Oh, I'm coming tonight. I promise you. Prophecy is, some of you are so used to word of knowledge, but word of knowledge is bold print. Prophecy is fine print. So I don't come to give you bold print. I come to give you fine print. Bold print says that God is going to feed you. Fine print is go to the brook and a raven is going to show up. Yeah, bold print says he's going to work a miracle, but fine print says go and get 6 water pots, fill them up to the brim, and the miracle will work out. So I don't come to give you word of knowledge to get you to dance. I come to give you an instruction. And he says, I want to build your name. And in order to build your name, I've got to affect what you do, because what you do is not who you are. It's not for everybody in this room. But he says, you have 32,000 people. Can you imagine a 32,000 member church? That's the goal, to say we're growing and we are mega and we are doing it and we are making it. And he says, in order, Bishop, to change your name and make you the man I need you to be, I want you to lose members. And he takes him from 32,000 to 10,000. God, what are you doing? Because to everyone else, I'm failing because I don't have as many people as I started with. And what if the loss was God's way of no longer handicapping you to be insecure enough to hide behind what you do and yet ignore who you are? And what if COVID was to expose that the company was not covenant? And so I'm not going to use their presence as purpose and assurance, but I'm going to use my word. And so he loses members to become who he's supposed to be. This is what he says, bro. And sis, this is what he says. He says, the people you have with you are too many. Hear this, church. He says, tell them if they are afraid, it's okay if they leave. Okay, you missed it. You missed it. You missed it. He says, I want you to not wait for them to leave. I want you to release them so you won't be offended by their departure because you're the one that opened the door. And I need somebody here that's so confident in who you are that you are not begging nobody to stay. You are not trying to promote anybody too soon just to make them do whatever. Prophetess Fantasia said, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself. And he said, watch this. The reason why some of you are offended because they left is because you didn't release them while they chose to stay. They chose to stay because they didn't want to disappoint you, yet they didn't believe in you. He says, let them leave. All right, I need at least 55 praisers in this sanctified room to just point at somebody and tell them, don't make nobody else stay. If they want to leave, do not wait for them to go. Pack their bag for them, fold it nicely, and say, I pray that God give you somebody else. I want him to give you somebody else so you can get out my DMs. I want him to give you somebody. I want you to fall in love. I want you to be happy so you can leave me alone, because in this season, I don't want nobody that don't want to stay. He says, apostle, he says, open the door and let them go. And they left. Biggest loss he ever had. And yet it's in God's will. Then, executive pastor, then he says, all right, I'm not going to use who you still got because who you still have is wrong. I'm going to offend you. I'm going to offend you because truth is offensive. And so I'm going to offend you, and it's going to be okay. I'm going to enjoy it. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. But I'm going to offend you. He says, I want you to take them down to the brook, and I want you to watch how they drink. If they satisfy themselves and forget the assignment, send them home. If they can manage the assignment and their desire, let them stay. Which means if you always got to dismiss yourself for self-care when we really need you to be on the wall, you are the wrong person for the job. No, y'all turn self-care into selfishness, but you got to adjust your schedule to your assignment. You don't alter your assignment because you feel a certain kind of way. I don't know, that new rebellious spirit, the devil is a liar. You got to understand that you got to be planted and be in place. He says if they can satisfy themselves and serve. See, that means you can experience fulfillment even while you're functioning. God, I wish I felt it. He said, let them stay. I'm almost where I need to be. He says, all right. He was 31,700 losses away from becoming who he was supposed to be. I'm going to try that again. Woman of God. He was 31,700 losses away from being who he was supposed to be. And what if the winds held you hostage to you were never supposed to be? Because winning in someone else's eyes is not always winning to the master. You had 32,000 as Zerubbabel. You win with 300 as Gideon. I'm where I need to be. And he wins. And after he wins, It's your anniversary. You can sit down. You don't have to work too hard. He wins. And after he wins, some of the people who left came back and said, we with you now. We left because we couldn't see it. But now that you won, we get it now. Some people going to be mad that they left your life too soon. Because when you were on your way, they couldn't see it. And then after you have won, then they show up and say, now I see it. And your insecurity will roll out a welcome mat and invite them back into the spot they forfeited. Now, all right, I came to talk. I'm almost where I need to be. And your humility and your so-called spirituality will make you feel obligated to restore somebody you were only supposed to forgive. No, you were supposed to forgive them to get it out your heart, but you were not to restore them back to the place that they forfeited. And some of you got hoodwinked and bamboozled by this mentality that says you can be a doormat and you're okay. And Gideon has to come to himself and say, this ain't right. Like y'all, you remember, Apostle, when Joshua, they conquered Jericho in chapter number 6, you remember? And when after he conquered chapter 6, he goes to Achan in chapter number 7, and then they get whooped in chapter number 7. No, they go to Ai in chapter number 8. And then the Bible says, in chapter number 7. And then in chapter number 8, he revises it and gives him another opportunity. And then he tells him, the reason why you messed up was because somebody in your camp in chapter 7 jacked up the thing. Achan was one of his sons. And Achan, because the commandment was don't take nothing. He took silver, he took gold, and he took the t-shirt of somebody else's pastor. Babylonian garment, I'm sorry. And when he takes it, he doesn't wear it in his leader's face. But y'all ain't talking, because you put on impact when you hear, but you sound like somebody else, you act like somebody else. Y'all ain't talking to me here. And when you go get an oil change, they do not just open up the thing and put new oil in. They drain the old oil out and then they put new oil in. I want to know, if he's your father, why do you sound like somebody else? He says Achan messed it up because he took the gold, the silver, the Babylonian garment. And he says, so watch this. He says, Josh, you didn't fail because of you. You failed because of who you were connected to. It's somebody in your camp. And I want to tell you, you're one major exit away from getting where you're supposed to go. He says, who messed up? God shows him it's Achan. He says, Achan, did you do what God told you to do? He said, yeah, Pastor. He says, which I need every pastor in here to receive this. He looks at him and says, you lying. Y'all missed it. I'm going to try it again. He says, did you do what God said? He said, yeah. He said, you lying. Some of you in this season, watch this. You've got to tell the people you've been giving passes to that you know they lying. Okay, front row, I need y'all to help me the rest of them sleep. Because you used to let them say whatever they wanted to say to you and get off the phone and give them a pass. But now it's like, you know you didn't do that. You know you ain't right. You know your heart really ain't in it. And you, watch this. And so I'm in a season, just tell me the truth. And I can deal with the truth. But I can't respect you if you're a liar. And he says, hey, you know you didn't obey God. He said, well, yeah, I took some gold. I took some silver. I took a Babylonian garment, but I ain't wearing it in public. It's at the house. And so he says, watch this. I have it, but I'm hiding it. And he said, but you never should have had it. So watch this. He says, I forgive you, but I'm not going to restore you. The text says, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill your whole family. They don't like this kind of preaching. He says, I'm going to kill you and your whole family. Why? Because when you kill off a person and you leave who they're connected to on the premises, then they will always have access to what you're doing. That's why your haters know what y'all are saying in private meetings, because there's still some spies in the camp that's going back telling the people we don't deal with what's going on. But I was a part of the blue team back in the day, and I didn't hang out with the red team. I didn't fool with people, and if I loved you and you had enemies, I hated your enemies day one. And so I want to know, how you gonna love me and be friends with my enemies? How you gonna love me and know they dogging me? And some of y'all saying, but I'm neutral. That don't have nothing to do with me. Covenant won't let you be neutral. Just won't. Just won't. I'm sneaking in my seat. I'm over time. No tap. Wow. Okay, I can't tell you to tap. Look at somebody and tell them covenant won't let you be neutral. They go and they say, Miss Ashley, now you my mom. Now I can see it. Now I want to be a part of the team. Now I can see it. And Gideon says, no. If you'll ever allow me to come back, I promise I'll close it like I feel it. I just wish my lungs would work better, but if you give me a pass, I'll still, if you'll give me a pass. All right. He says, if you couldn't see it while I was becoming, then I don't want you a part of my reality once I become. It would seem to me that restoration was adding more people, but actually restoration was him becoming the sum total of who he was supposed to be without their help. I need somebody in here to understand that if you just have his presence, you have enough to get it done. Y'all missed that. What we have done, church, hear me. We have forfeited due process for popularity at the expense of the presence of God. Most of what we experience in the body is not coming from a genuine relationship. We know how to do this, and church is the only place where you can fake it and still prosper. Where you can be an entertainer and still win with no devotion, with no doctrine. You don't know what you believe. You don't contend for the faith. You don't have a prayer life. You will only preach when you're on stages. But when we grew up, we couldn't just preach on the stage. We had to preach in an empty room with nobody there. They put us on the corner and said, if you were called to preach, you're not just called to preach to people. You are called to preach. And they forced us. Forced us out of this new age mentality. Now people can make flyers for trial sermons. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get in trouble. But we can make no flyer. We had to just show up. And I remember when it was my trial sermon, my daddy said, you preaching this day? And I said, okay. And I got a new suit because I was getting ready to preach. And I told everybody, I want you to come. And yeah, and then my daddy said, I'm changing the date. Get to the church now. I didn't have time to call nobody. I got to the church. Nobody was there. I said, I guess they running late. And then I had to go in. And he said, since God called you to preach, I want you to preach. I said, but where the folk at? He said, wait some more. And then I invited everybody and they showed up. About 40 people came to hear me. And God said, now that you want to be an evangelist, thank you for giving me somebody to preach to. And on my Sunday in his church, he took his liberties and preached. I'm just trying to kill something, Apostle. I promise that's here. Because what he says is, I don't want you to be an empowered entertainer. I want to raise up somebody who's going to get it the hard way. He says, Gideon, you're going to win with less. But are you more concerned about the win or the crowd? Are you concerned about the glory being with you? Because can I tell you this? Y'all love being prophetic, But most prophets, if you read the Bible, are all unstable. Because prophets are not maintained, they sustain. That means God tells the prophet, go there, I'm going to keep you. Do that, and I'm going to keep you. And that's why some of you got to stop chasing an anointing. Because when you chase a real anointed person, they will jack up your life. Because they will save money, and God will say, give it all. Y'all ain't talking to me here. They will develop a pattern, and in the middle, God will say, before you get to the period, I'm going to make your period their comma, and I will jack up your whole reality. You look at the stage and say, I want them, but you have no idea how much this is going to cost. Because the reason why 5 is both grace and ministry is because if you don't have the grace to do ministry, you'll die before you ever become a man at chapter 6. And I want to tell you this prophetically, if you can hear me, as an apostolic gift. Those who don't have the grace to get it done will die off and will never remember their names. There are people during COVID we watched and we celebrated, and they are absent now. Why? Because they had a crowd, but no crown. God never called them the people like them. And so I want to end tonight with my raspy voice and my lungs, with the lyrics of a songwriter from back in the day, during my boombox days and cassette tape days. And when we would take the cassette and we would listen to the radio, and we would record from the okay, I can't get help in the house. There was a prophet back in the day that gave an announcement I want to give to this house. And the prophet wasn't John P. Key. It wasn't Hezekiah Walker. It wasn't Fred Hammond. It was Mike Jones. And all right, some of you said who, that's fine. But Prophet Mike Jones said it this way. He said, back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. All right, somebody in here know Mike 2. That's Mike 3 and 1. So what God says tonight, as I go to my close, is that if they can't develop with you, dismiss them when they return. Tell them, I love you, but you know you don't do me. You do my win. You know you don't fool with me. You fool with my success. And so if you love me, you would love me instant, in season and out of season. All right, all right. I want y'all to stop being hoodwinked and bamboozled by your own expectation. And I want you to prophesy and release somebody and tell them, you know they don't want you. And so you got to accept they don't think you're good enough. So you got to accept that they don't think you old enough. So you got to accept it. They don't think you got enough members. So you got to accept it. But once you accept it and you have his presence, it will be well with your soul. Please hear me, sir. Gideon accomplishes more with 300 than he could have ever accomplished with 32,000. And God says, while everybody was bragging about how big the church was for 32,000, it didn't matter because I was after you. And I know what it's like. I lost me. I need y'all to give me a minute. Can I talk to your man of God? I lost me. I've been doing this almost 20 years. And I lost me. I was writing books, selling thousands. Members was growing. I was preaching across the country. And while I was in the hotel, I kept pill bottles with me because I was suicidal and I didn't want to live. Because they didn't love me. They loved what I did. And I saw them when they were going through. And I cast out the spirit. And I prayed and I blocked it. But nobody could see me as long as I let them dance. As long as I paid their bills, they didn't care. And I was okay when I didn't know who I was. As long as I could still be minister, prophet, reverend, pastor, I was okay. But when I got a glimpse of who I was supposed to be, what I did no longer gave me fulfillment. Because I figured out who I was. I've been pastoring since 20. I didn't know who I was till 30. At 33 was when I finally figured it out. At 35 was when I finally got comfortable. And I got success off of being something God never called me to be. I was preaching things I didn't believe because I didn't want to mess up nothing. And God was turning me into something else. And I said, God, how can I make a drastic decision when the crowd is coming? And God said, it's when you discover if you keep highlighting what you do and overlooking who you are, you will die from a lack of fulfillment while you still function. Let me say this to you, my brother. Don't allow what we do to become the sum total of who and what we are. I didn't take a vacation. I didn't take a sabbatical because I was afraid the church was going to fail. But if it's God's church, he got to make it work. I need somebody in here to help me. But some of y'all got pastor salvation and you say, if he ain't there, I'm leaving. Watch this. You are a witch. You are a warlock. And you don't understand. You're making it harder for the man of God to do what he's assigned to do. You got to say, when I really assign to him and he's absent, I show up earlier. I dance harder. And I give more to make sure budget can be met. Because I want the man to live, not just the mantle. And I was suicidal, my brother. I got stuck in a rut, and when I start changing, I start losing. But while I was losing, I start growing. I start becoming. And I want to tell you that you are about to be introduced to the rest of you not many days from today. And everything is about to pick up speed. All right, I want you to point at somebody and tell them these words, these strong words. Tell them you are about to be introduced to the rest of you, and everything will pick up speed. Find one more person, look them in the eye, and tell them you are about to be introduced to the rest of you, and everything will pick up speed. Find somebody else happy and tell them you are about to be introduced to the rest of you, and everything will pick up speed. I need you on your feet. I need you on your feet. Please hear me. Please hear me. Please hear me. Please hear me. I want for the next 30 seconds you to release a shout in this room from the depths of your soul. Watch this. To release yourself from your current you and welcome the introduction of your new you. No. Because when you know you're anointed to be more than one thing and God finally starts releasing the rest of you, it looks a little uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable, but I never went through warfare because of sinners. It was always because of the saints. Sinners will, watch this, sinners will want you to do everything for them and will never pay you. Or saints will want you to do everything for you. They'll want a discount, they'll never pay you. Sinners will make sure you eat. They'll be like, Reb, I appreciate you, I love you, you know I smoke, you know I drink, but I honor you. Y'all ain't talking. And saints will say, he's just a man just like me. But I want to tell you, your new audience that's going to pay full price or double is getting ready to be introduced to your life. I came to tell you, you will not just be prophet and evangelist, you will be entrepreneur, you'll be millionaire, you'll be business owner, you'll be home owner. I came to speak and tell you the rest of you is getting ready to show up. I need for 30 seconds you to open up your mouth and give God praise, because it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. They won't ask you to preach, they'll ask you to be a consultant. It's coming. It's coming. I won't. Open your mouth, church. Come on. Real money is coming. Real wins are coming. Real wins are coming. Real wins are coming. of you are waiting, sweetheart with the blonde, waiting to be hired. God says you are the one to hire. He is changing your status. I'm trying to get it out with no voice. He says, I want you to leave something for nothing to get everything. That means for some of you, your obedience to God is going to cause you to be in the tightest place you've ever been. But man of God, if you can leave something for nothing, you'll get everything. Wrong church. I'm going to find one more person and tell them, if you can leave, watch this, because why would I keep doing something that makes me miserable? Why would I keep doing something that takes the life out of me? But I came to tell you, you get ready to wake up and do what you want to do. You get ready to write your own schedule. You get ready to do it the way you feel it. God is getting ready to change your status. Get it out. I'm trying to get it out. And the people that we work so hard to impress, God is going to reveal to you their approval don't even matter. Some stages they said if we ever get to, we made it. You'll get to a point to say it don't even matter. I would rather preach for somebody covenant with a room that's 25% full than go around somebody, I got a butt kiss and brown nose, to act like I'm not what I am. God is getting ready. All right. Apostle, I just heard the Lord say this. He says, tell them I am not going to send them to it, but tell them I'm bringing it to them. I need you to tell 3 people he's bringing it to you. It's going to fall right in your lap. They're going to walk in from nowhere. He's going to let it fall. Find 3 people and tell them it's going to fall right in your lap. It's going to fall right in your lap. The fabric is going to fall right in your lap. The cameras is going to fall right in your lap. The vehicle's going to fall right in your lap. God's going to make it. He's going to make it fall. I'm trying to get it out. Because it is Sheldon. Because there are some things we say, I'm here, here's the next step, here's the next step, here's the next step, here's the next step. If you can receive what I'm getting ready to say and give God a praise like your feet is on fire, he says, tell them in the next 5 months, I will anoint them to skip over 5 steps. I need somebody in here to give God a praise, because you ain't going to the next level. You're going to the one after that, and 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 he's going to make up. He's going to make. It's not that raise, and then that raise, and then that raise, and then that raise. It's that raise. See, because people who don't believe in you will tell you stuff like, you got to start somewhere. You know, don't bite off more than you can chew. But I need somebody, this ain't for everybody in this room, but I need everybody that got swag and confidence. I need you to open up your loud mouth and shout, I'm getting ready to do too much. I'm getting ready to do so much. I'm going to get on your nerves. So much, you're going to call me arrogant. So much, you're going to call me crazy. I got more than me. More in me than one thing. God's getting ready to anoint me for too much. And they say, I'm trying. They say, when you got more than one thing in you, find something and then do that one, and then do the next one, and then do next one, then do the next one. I need you to deliver 2 people in this room and tell them God said do all of them. You missed it. God, no. What are you waiting on? You're waiting for something. Watch this. And you know it's God because you're seeing people in this season do what he called you to do, and they ain't even doing it right, and it's frustrating you. God said, I need you to do it broke. I need you to do it afraid. I need you to do it wounded. I need you to do it divorced. I need you to... I need you to wave at 5 people and command them, say, get it out of here. Get it out of here. Write the book. Build the brand. Get it out. Get it out of you. Get it out of you. With or without their help. Get it out of you. With or without the support. Get it out. Get it out. Get it out.